So you and I've been talking about all these power rankings that everyone's putting out now. Of course, now's the time you're putting out your preseason picks, you're putting out your power rankings, and there's one thing that I think both you and I agree on that bugs us, right? Because we've been saying throughout the offseason the disparity between the AFC and the NFC,
Yes.
and we say it's huge, right? We say it's huge, and yet we see all these power rankings that have, for our liking, too many NFC teams in the top 10.
Yeah. It's a problem.
So, you know, I thought we'd take a crack at,
A true power
what we,
ranking.
right. Because look, the AFC is so far superior right now to the NFC. It's not even funny. I mean, it's not close. And maybe, hey, maybe NFC comes along this year. Maybe they're tougher than we think they are, but I don't think so, man. Not if the past 2 years have anything to say about it. I think it's the AFC, right?
Yeah, so I always have a problem with this. So they want to do this in the NBA, I think, for a long time because the West was so far superior than the East, at least the last, I don't know, what, 10 years or so. And they're like, okay, well, let's just seed the best 16, right? Who
Right.
we deem the best 16 are. And a lot of East teams will be dropped off the list. Well, this is what we're going to do because the AFC has taken control of the league, and there's no doubt about it. And this is our response to that. So I'm tired of you always have to feel like you have to put some NFC teams in, which we will have, but it's ridiculous, a ridiculous notion to say that some of these NFC teams that they're putting in are better than AFC teams. They're going to have better records. They're going to have better.
They are. They are because they have a weaker conference. They are
Yeah.
definitely going to have better records. No
Yeah,
doubt.
yeah.
And look,
we're going to remedy that real quick.
obviously the NFC won the Super Bowl last year, but let's face it. Do you believe that the best AFC team got into the Super Bowl?
No,
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think the Bengals did a wonderful job and they got there, but were they the best AFC team? I don't think so, man. I
no.
don't think they were. They were top three.
Yeah.
They were top three, and they almost won the Super Bowl. If it wasn't for some heroics from Aaron Donald at the end there, they still could have won that damn thing.
Yeah, and they should have even been in there, to be honest with you. I mean, you look who they went through, the Titans, who were their number one seed. They barely beat them. They barely went through the Chiefs. So you have to understand, okay, the road to the AFC Championship is going to be hard, and to the road to the Super Bowl is going to be even harder, but it's harder for the AFC.
Right.
The best team in the NFC couldn't even crack the divisional game. So that's where we're landing on this, right? That's why this list is what it is.
Right. So without further ado, we're gonna do our top 10 power rankings.
Yeah.
And we're probably gonna take some crap for this, some Homer stuff. But at number 10, you and I think we agree. It's the Colts. And we came down to this number 10, it's going to be Colts or Chargers, right? So we're trying to come up with it because either one of these teams could have been in. I think the Colts are just a little bit better than the Chargers, maybe a little bit more completed team, especially on defense.
Yeah.
So we're going to give the nod to the Colts as number 10.
And we think that, so this is, let's just lay out how we're thinking about this. We're comparing divisions, we're comparing how we think it's going to unfold, what the strengths of the team are, what the weaknesses of the teams are. And so this is how we dive into it. And that's why we've came up with more AFC teams. I know it's a homer pick. I really hate picking the Colts because I believe in that karma stuff. But the truth is they have a really good team. And I think with Matty Ice, it's going to be really good. So
it came down to, again, when we got down to number 10, and we're talking about, who can beat who. it was down to Colts, Raiders, who's going to be number 10. And the Raiders could easily be here as well. I mean, and I couldn't argue that at all. However, I just think the Colts are just a little bit more completed team. And of course, that's projecting a lot upon Ice, Matty Ice. It puts a lot on him. But
Yeah, obviously we have a great running game and stuff like that.
Right.
We're not going to go through the gambit, but you originally said Chargers, but I was like, it was between the Colts or the Raiders. So that's how we came up with that solution.
So speaking of which, at number 9, I think it's universally agreed that the AFC West is the strongest division in football. I mean, right?
Close.
No one else compares to the AFC West. They have the best quarterbacks. They have really great defenses, especially with the Chargers reloading on defensively. This is a tough division. So at number 9, I think we agree. We have the Chargers coming in at number 9.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And probably finishing third in that division, which is, not saying that they're bad, but saying that's a tough division.
That's a very tough division. So the records aren't going to be impressive. This is not about records. Who's going to, go where. We're just talking about who are the strongest teams, right? That's the whole specific goal of a power ranking.
Right.
Who we think the most powerful teams are. And the Chargers are number 9 because, man, they're really good. They're stacked. If Herbert, it would not surprise me if Herbert came through and really cleaned up this year like Burrow did last year. And it wouldn't shock me because he's a great talent and they have a great defense. They got the Bosa. That's a tough team, man.
They're stacked. They're playing in again the toughest division in football, which is the only reason they're ranked this low because otherwise they'd be higher.
Yeah,
but the fact is that the Chargers beat most NFC teams. I mean,
yes,
they just beat both of them.
And that's how we're kind of grading is who from the NFC could beat the Chargers.
Right, throw them up there, people. Throw them up there.
Yeah,
because there's not many. There's not many.
Right.
However, having said that, you and I agree that the Packers come in at number 8.
And that's only because of number 12. And
Definitely. So as long as he's playing for you, this guy wins you 3 games on his own.
At least, yeah.
You can take away all the other guys. This guy wins you 3 games on his own. He's that freaking good.
He's
and
amazing.
That's the reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the reason you're number 8. Because frankly, it's not your receiving core. It's a rookie receiving core, with the exception of Lazard and Cobb. I mean, they're not expected to do much. Their defense is improved, but it's unproven as well. So we'll see. But for right now, we have the Packers at number 8.
And I don't care how many T-shirts he brings out with him and Lazard, but
Cool,
we know he's a downgrade from Devontae Adams. So,
hey, if I was a Packers fan, I'd own that T-shirt. All right, so at number 7, we go back to the AFC West, and you and I are, we're at odds on this one, but we agreed we're going to put the Broncos here.
Yeah, I think they should be higher, but you disagree. But it's right around where I would put them anyway. But
because you think it's a sexy pick to win the division. You're a big Wilson fan. I'm not, but
I'm a big Wilson fan. Not only that, but their defense is crazy good. They added Gregory. Their secondary is amazing with Surtain, and they have all the pieces that you'd really want. And that Russell Wilson has won with before, right? So
yeah. So that's 2 already from the West. Now we go back to the NFC. Here we have the Buccaneers, which I think
another 12 is the reason.
We probably would have put them higher. However, their offensive line is not as good as it once was.
They lost 2 guards. They lost 2 guards and then lost the center and the backup center due to injury. And that's big trouble for specifically Tom Brady because pressure up the middle. is
He
very
does not like that, man. He
no,
does not like that.
no
So,
quarterback actually likes it, but
no,
I think he struggles with it a little bit more.
right.
It seems
Oh,
like.
yeah, I mean, if you wanna pressure Brady, that's the way to pressure him, because that's where he's gonna be. You know, if you can get pressure up the middle, that's exactly where this man's gonna be,
Right.
right? So, I think they're in a little bit of trouble there. However, number 12 does fix a lot of that. I mean, this guy is that good. And again, he's a guy who can get you 3 games on his own. He's
And by
that good.
and so again, they still have talent out the wazoo, defensively and offensively.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I
Their
I
receiver
don't feel
core
sorry for him. I don't feel sorry for him at all. But
their receiver core is second to none, but I think, a lot of those guys are gonna have to learn to run shorter patterns.
yeah, very
Yeah,
short patterns. Yeah,
very short patterns. Right. All right, so at number 5, we have the Ravens,
yeah.
and I think that's about right, and it obviously all depends upon, Jackson. He's back, as long as he's healthy. This is a scary team. They've been scary, up until you get to
Always
the
scary.
playoffs.
Yeah,
Up until you get playoffs. In the regular season, they're scary. I mean, you don't know how to play these guys because, such a wild card that he is. I mean, it's tough.
yeah. So it's hard to prepare for because you can't prepare
Right.
for that kind of speed on the field.
You don't see it.
And yeah,
You
and
can't simulate it, not with you. You can't simulate it. There's no way to simulate that in practice. So you don't know until you see it.
exactly. And I think he's coming for blood this year. He's he hasn't signed a contract yet, so this is a contract year.
Right.
I just feel like he's gonna. I hope he stays healthy. I promise you. I wish no ill will towards him on health, but they're a scary team because their defense is always crucial, and the way he can run, his throwing is sometimes hit or miss, but they're going to be tough no matter what. They're going to be tough.
Right. And look, again, the NFC doesn't stack up against it. They're
No,
not used to playing that. Their teams in the AFC North certainly are, and they still don't fare well against it.
yeah,
This is a tough matchup for anybody.
yep,
And again, I just don't think the NFC has anything for this. Nothing for
no,
it.
absolutely not.
So we go next to now the Ravens. I think were your pick for division winners.
Yeah,
So you compromised with me. Number 4, we have the Bengals,
yeah,
who was my pick for the North division winners. Hey, look, AFC champions. They've shored up their offensive line a little bit. They had an excellent defense that didn't get enough credit
not at all.
last year. Yeah, this was an excellent defense. This is a good team. This is a very, very good team. You don't want to face. I think they win the North. You think the Ravens give them a problem, and you're not wrong because again, the Ravens create such a matchup problem. But this is an excellent team, and I just don't see many teams messing with them.
No, I agree. Don't get me wrong; they're tough as hell, and you're right. The defense does not get enough credit for what they did specifically against the Kansas City Chiefs
Yeah,
last
big
year. They went down 21. What was it? 21-0, 21-3, and they just shut Mahomes down.
right.
That's an impossible task, and they completed it. They're a tough, tough team, and Joe Burrow is the real deal.
He is.
I, I obviously I would not be shocked if they won the division and went on to, what they did last year. But I always the only reason I picked the Ravens is because of the Super Bowl hangover thing, and
Right.
it seems to come true all the time. So
All right. So number 3, we finally go back to the NFC. The defending Super Bowl champs, the Los Angeles Rams. And
yeah, we had to put them in there.
yeah, because it's purely out of respect. We're going to find out tomorrow. The Rams are going to play the Bills. We'll see.
Yeah,
Uh, the Rams are a damn good team. They're a damn good team.
yeah,
I think Stafford gets a little more credit than he deserves. He's a solid, solid A-minus quarterback. Uh, but I don't think he's elite. I don't think he ever was. But he's darn good. McVay's a hell of a coach. hell of a coach. But I think they struggled uh, through the playoffs. I think they struggled in the Super Bowl till the end again when they had a defensive shutdown, pretty much the fourth quarter. But I don't think they're as good as their trophy says they are, but they're good.
Yeah, I agree. But you have to give them respect. They did win it.
They
The
won it.
the Buccaneer game. So people are acting like Brady was going to come back and da 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 da. Stafford didn't make a mistake that game. Everybody
Right.
fumbled. They fumbled
Right.
4 times, man, and
Yeah.
one was on the goal line. I mean, just ridiculous shit that somehow Brady always gets. I don't get it, but I'm not trying to McCockiner this, but I'm just saying he got lucky 4 turnovers. That's crazy.
Right.
And because they were killing him. And Stafford came up with you want to talk about a clutch throw. I know Cooper Kupp is an amazing receiver, but he hit him right on the button. And it was a stupid play call going zero blitz. But anyway, they deserve respect, and they are a really good team. They have a lot of talent, so you can't disagree with that. So
No. I think they're rightfully placed at number 3. I don't think they're top 2.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, number 2, we go back to that vaunted division, the AFC West, Kansas City Chiefs.
Yep.
And honestly, I would put them number 1, except for you cannot look past the colossal failure of the second half of the AFC Championship game.
Yep.
That has to be addressed, and we got to ask ourselves why that could possibly happen, because
Yep.
it was horrible, and it was kind of all on Mahomes in my mind.
Yeah, it was on Mahomes, and let's not forget. Okay, so they lost Tyreek Hill, so that's a big deal. That's
It's a
going
big
to
deal.
change their offense a little bit. I know people don't think that's true, but it is. Let's not forget they should have lost against the Bills the previous week.
Right.
The Bills bailed them out by letting Tyreek Hill get loose in the
Right.
last 13 seconds. Let's not forget that they were about to lose that game. So
Right.
2 is gracious to me, and they're in a tough division. Again, it's not about the records, what's going to happen, but they are a really good football team, and I believe in Patrick Mahomes. He's the real deal as well. But I just don't think they're better than the number 1 team we're about to say, and I think everybody knows who we're about to say.
Obviously, it's the Buffalo Bills, right?
Yeah.
And obviously, that's projection because they didn't make it last year. They didn't make it to the final 2. They didn't even make it till the final 4.
Mm-hmm.
So why? Well, because you can see the possibilities. You can see it, and you think they're going to punch through. They're not going to punt through because they actually ended up cutting that guy, but they're going to punch through this year.
Was that the rape god? I mean, punt god?
Yeah, the rape god. Yes. Jesus. The Buffalo Bills, we both have number 1. I think most people have number 1.
Yeah, I mean, it's an obvious pick. I get it.
Yeah.
But
Look,
it's hard to look past that how good they are.
Now, let's not forget these guys lost to the Jacksonville Jaguars last year.
Yeah.
They lost to Indianapolis Colts. They lost some games they shouldn't have lost. So they need to fix those issues if they want to lay claim to it. We assume they will, but until proven otherwise, we're going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say they're number 1. But they do have to fix those issues because they've got them. We just assume that they've learned life's lessons, right?
Yeah, and I think Josh Allen's going to be more consistent this year. He's coming out on his 4th. Is this his 4th year?
4th year. He's missing Brian Daboll now.
He's missing Brian Daboll, but I feel like this game is slowing down, and he played phenomenal in the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
So I just feel like he took a step, and that's kind of what it takes usually. Patrick Mahomes is like a rare occurrence where he just steps in and automatically is in the Super
Yeah,
Bowl and stuff like that. But
I don't think people appreciate enough what Mahomes did.
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, my gosh,
He's phenomenal. He's phenomenal.
you don't see that. I
But
mean,
he's gonna take his lumps too. It's the NFL. Everybody takes their lumps, and this is the only problem I have. So okay, Buffalo's our number one team, but they're not overwhelming favorites to me. It's
I don't
just
think so.
they're the best team right now, but they're not overwhelming. Like when they're not the most dominant team I've ever seen or anything like that. It's just they're the number one team right now.
Yeah, I think anyone in this top five honestly could ascend to that number one spot very
Yeah, yeah,
easily. And
absolutely.
the Bills can interchange with that. The Bills have the possibilities. They have the talent. Uh, they have the coaching. They can do it. It's up to them. We'll see what they do. But preseason pick, I just don't know where else you could go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
right.
tough and it's predictable. I get it, but there's just really no other ways to go right now. We'll see when we start playing some games, but
Yeah. So overall, we had 7 teams from the AFC in the top 10 and 3 teams from the NFC. I think that's about right. The NFC, until proven otherwise, you just don't match up well. You don't match up well at all. You
yeah,
might have 3 elite quarterbacks, and that's about it. You look at the AFC, hell, you got 3 elite quarterbacks in one division. You might have 4 if you include Derek Carr.
yeah.
It's just not comparable. It's not.
No,
It's not. And
no,
then you talk defensively as well. I mean, no, the NFC does not match up well against the AFC. It's not to say they can't win any particular game, but overall, if you look at the record of the AFC versus the NFC last year, AFC crushed them. And
yeah.
I think they're going to do it again this year. I just don't see why
Bad,
that would.
badly going to crush them this year.
Yeah.
But don't fret, NFC fans, because one of you guys are going to get to the Super Bowl. So, and you could win a game. So you're just not better than the AFC. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all we're saying.
All right. Well, we'll see you next week, guys. I think we're done here.
I think we're done here.